All right, we might as well get started. Welcome, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. We're so excited to be speaking to you today in the APAC and Europe kickoff of 2023 Iron Viz, the qualifier round, I should say. Very excited to be here. I've got a bunch of really great people that you'll be hearing mostly from today. We're here to talk to you about what Iron Viz is next year, I should say. Next year, what the criteria are, and what the theme is, and there'll be a chance for you to ask your questions as well after at the end of the session. So, who am I? All right, my name is Nina. I'm here on behalf of Tableau. I'm a solution architect here in Sydney, Australia. And I was very, very fortunate to be the 2022 Iron Viz Visor. And obviously, I was fortunate, even more fortunate to work with Kimley as the Iron Viz finalist in 2022. And so a bit about myself. I've been with Tableau for just over 2 years now. I basically, in my role as a solution architect, I work in our professional services team, and I get to actually use Tableau to help our customers. So every day I'm helping our customers in terms of their data visualization challenges, what the analytics solutions that they can, what they can achieve with Tableau. And I love what I do because I love Tableau. And I've been with Tableau for, even though it's been over 2 years, but really I've been working with Tableau for the last 6 years in my career. So was a customer before I became a Tableau employee. And yeah, just thrilled to be here every day. I'll throw it over to Kimley, who introduced herself, and hopefully she'll tell us about all the great work she's been doing, in addition to being just amazing and being an Iron Viz finalist and everything. Kimley, take it away.
Thank you so much, Nina. So hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here today. My name is Kimley Scott, and I have actually quite a few years of experience working in analytics. So currently I am analytics manager at a company called Lux Asia, who are based in Singapore, although I myself am located in Melbourne, Australia. And in my everyday work, I just help my company see and understand data and, use data to make our business decisions. So I've been using Tableau for about 5 years now, and I do participate in a lot of community projects to help me with my Tableau skills and my analysis skills and my design skills, which all accumulated into me becoming a finalist for this year's Iron Viz. So there's so many community projects out there. I encourage everyone to participate and join. Just want to give a plug out to one of the community projects that I lead, Diversity in Data. Check it out. Would love for everyone to jump on board. And that's me.
Thank you, Kimley. All right, so what do we got for you today? So first, Kimley and I are going to take you through what the Iron Viz qualifiers are for next year, which really submissions have already started and are coming. The submission deadline is fast approaching. So now's the time to think about the theme and how if you'd like to enter and make your submission. So we'll tell you all you need to know about that and point you in the right direction. After our session, we'll be handing over to Tora Levinsen, who will be talking to you about judging criteria. So you'll be very interested to know how your Viz will be judged. And Tora was one of the judges in last year's competition. So we'll be giving you a very really relevant feedback and tips and tricks there. Then Nathalie Richer will talk to you about her own experience. Now, Nathalie was a finalist, a top 10 in last year's competition or Iron Viz. So what has she learned? She's keen to tell you all about it. And then after that, we'll throw it over to you for Q&A. Any questions you'd like to ask us, please feel free to just enter it in the chat, the Q&A, or feel free to speak up as well. All right. So Kimberly, do you want to tell us about Iron Viz?
Sure. So I guess everyone's here because they want to learn more about Iron Viz and they're interested in participating and giving it a go. So in its 12th year, Iron Viz is the world's largest data visualization contest. And it's your chance to practice and grow your Tableau skills while also having fun. The 2023 Global Qualifier runs from October 3rd to the 31st, 2022. And the top 3 will have a chance to compete for the grand prize at the Tableau Conference. But there's something new that's happening this year. So rather than a global top 10, the top 5 qualifier entrants from each region, so Americas, APAC, and EMEA, will be recognized. And our top 3 will be comprised of the top score from each region. So that's a little bit different. That's happening this year as opposed to previous years. And drum roll, the qualifying theme is games. So more on that in a minute.
Do you want to talk to us about?
Yeah, the incentives for the prizes. Sorry, I forgot this was me. Okay,
Right.
if you do make it to the finals, if you do get to the stage, if you win first place, there's a $10,000 cash prize and a $5,000 donation to a nonprofit of your choice. And of course, you get free registration to the Tableau Conference in 2023. Second place is a $5,000 cash prize and a $2,000 donation to a nonprofit of your choice. And third place is a $2,000 cash prize and a $1,000 donation to the nonprofit of your choice. And of course, all three finalists will get a free registration to next year's Tableau Conference.
Amazing. Not that you need the financial incentive, in my opinion. I think the biggest prize is definitely the experience. Me just being a supervisor, I can definitely say that was just unforgettable. You know, obviously not everyone makes it to the stage, and even for myself as someone who got to stand next to you, that was a big privilege. All right, so yeah, as Kimberly mentioned before, the theme for the qualifier this next year, I keep saying this year, is games, right? So any structure, what do we mean when we say games? Really any structured form of play that involves a set of rules, challenges, or interaction. So your data set can be anything game related. Really, you can create your own data set, or you can use any public data set of your choice. So you may have questions around, you know, what might fit the theme of games and what might not. So just some examples of games. When we say games, you know, video games, hopefully everybody knows video games, whether you play video games yourselves or not. I'm sure you have friends or family that do, like myself. Both my brother and my partner are avid video game players. Tabletop games or board games, things like Monopoly, sports, right? Esports, so things like Leagues of Legends, bar games, things like darts or pool, game shows, traditional games like chess, tag, hopscotch. I have no idea what those are. Those are in my notes. And party games, sardines, scavenger hunt, think along those lines. Now, what's not a game? Mind games. I love that. I love that we call that out. And an interactive game made in Tableau. Okay, so unfortunately, we may have seen really cool games that are made as really what they're underneath is a Tableau dashboard. And there are some really clever authors on Tableau Public, like Joshua Preston, Tim Beard, who made a Hangman game, which I actually played last night. That was really fun. You know, but you can't, that's not what we're looking for, right? So we're looking for your ability to tell a story and to analyze data. So unfortunately, making a game in Tableau is not probably not gonna help you win Iron Viz this year. Any reality TV shows, let's not go there, right? So now, if you've got any questions at all about, you know, whether what you've chosen is in theme or not, definitely feel free to just shoot us an email. You'll find tons of resources or you know, questions, Q&A, frequently asked questions I was looking for at our Iron Viz website. So we'll point you there in a little bit, and you can definitely email ironviz@tableau.com with any questions you might have about the competition. All right. So with that, I'll actually flick over to Tora, and I am going to ask you, Tora, today to talk to us about the judging criteria. So just I'll give a bit of an introduction before I throw it over to Tora, and feel free to start sharing screen. By then I'll stop sharing screen and pass it over to you. But just in terms of criteria, you know, really, this has been the three criteria that we've used consistently in past years. It is about your visitors will be judged on design. What we mean by that is just how appropriate the design is for the story that's being told. We're looking for storytelling, right? So is there a clear story being told, a question being explored? Is there an appropriate context for that? Analysis, right? How sophisticated and appropriate is the data that's being used and how it's been analyzed for the story? So we have Tora today to talk about these three criteria and really offer his insights into what it was like judging last year. And maybe there are some things that he really wants you to keep in mind for your entry this year. So a little bit about Tora. Tora is a Tableau Jedi. So cool. I wish I have that in my title. With experience since version 7.0. I can't even think what year that was. He's based in Bergen, Norway, and is one of Europe's most merited Tableau trainers. So many of you may have come across him in your daily lives before, maybe your professional life. And it's with over 2,300 people trained in 15 countries. That's incredible. He's currently the leader of the Tableau user group in Norway, with over 20 years of experience as a consultant, advisor, pre-sales consultant, and trainer. What haven't you done, really? So it's been working with Tableaus since field maps and area charts were first introduced. I love that. And he has over 50 Tableau t-shirts and hoodies and a growing swag compilation. I love it. I have nowhere near that. In his spare time, he supports Liverpool FC, all right, and a handball and soccer coach for kids. My goodness. Tora, please take it away.
Thank you. It's always nice to have nice introductions, so I'm really happy about that. I'll click on the presentation. Hopefully you will be see me there. Since you introduced me so well, I don't need to spend any more time on this. I also love that this year when it games, you can't do the reality TV shows, and that's always something that I mention or talk about when I do training as well. When people would like to do a pie chart or a donut chart, you can do donut chart up to 100%, you know, right? But people, if you would like to visualize the effort or whatever, how much people competing or participating in these reality TV shows, how many percentage of themselves they would like to give when competing, like Sex on the Beach or all of those very nice TV shows, they give 110%. Well, then you can't visualize it in a Tableau chart. So that's also something that's really important when it comes to the criteria. It was really fun last year to go through all the different, well, we as judges, we were 21 judges, I think, and we then had many participants that were sharing their wishes, and we had a selection that we went through, and based on these criteria. And obviously, if people have data that is well appropriate, in this case, you need to have games, but if you have misunderstood basically what you're trying to or when you're competing in this competition, well, then you don't get a good score. And we are scoring from 0, basically completely failed. I didn't do a lot of zeros, luckily, that's good. And then up to the really outstanding, which is a 5. Then again, I didn't do very many of the 5s. Kimberly, I didn't grade yours, so that's probably why that I can remember, and not yours either, Nathalie. But we were giving scores on very detailed level, as you mentioned, Nina. The analysis, design, and storytelling are the key points that you should keep in mind when you're handing in your Tableau workbook. But if we start on the analysis page, basically how the data you have is supporting the topic that you're trying to share. We don't necessarily need to go into the data itself to look at calculations and see if you actually have done your calculations correctly. We are looking more at, are the data that you're using presented in a way that we understand, and it's applicable to whatever you're presenting. Obviously, sometimes you get a bit interested in how have the contestant done this. So been working with Tableau for ages. It's always nice to go in the back and see, and if there's something clever done there, that also will give the score a bit higher as well. So the data should be accurate and clean. It should be not like I see or saw sometimes as well. They put in some numbers and they have way too many decimals just because they haven't formatted your numbers. And do you really need to have 4, 5 decimals when you're presenting a high level number or something? No, you don't. We are also looking at the insights. What kind of insights do I get when I look at it? And also, what are you trying to convey? It's always nice to look at nice charts and nice visualizations and some ideas that you have. But if you don't also give us some insight, we have to try to figure out ourselves. Then that's maybe not a top score as well. Maybe it's just a successful, mediocre, depends. So whatever analysis that you have, that you're using, should support the story you're trying to tell. And when it comes to design, well, it should be easy to understand what you're trying to do. I've seen people who are adding all kinds of different type of visualizations because they have learned how to build both a bar graph and a tree map and a Sankey and whatever, and then they just put it in there. Maybe it's exactly the same thing that they're telling, but just with different visualizations or charts. That doesn't go well with the judges. So the design should support whatever you're trying to convey as well. And also when it comes to the interactivity and everything like that, we saw, well, I'll get back to that when I talk about tips and tricks as well. But the charts should be appropriate to what you're telling. You shouldn't add a chart just because you can. You should also explain what the different charts are. It's nice that you have this beautiful extra visualization in your story, but if I don't understand what it's trying to convey, that it's applicable to your story, then I don't like it, or I'm a bit confused, or maybe I get a bit grumpy, and then whatever else you have done later in the story, that's tagging along. Colors, that's obviously really important. Use colors that are in the theme that you're doing. If you're doing now games with and Pac-Man is your theme, then maybe yellow, since Pac-Man is yellow, should be your theme. Yellow and black, perhaps. So have something that is appropriate to what you're telling. And please don't use red and green, because people have eye deficiencies or sight deficiencies, color deficiencies, and that's also in the top here for design, the accessibility. So it should be able to non-data people or non-Tableau people. That's something I see many times during the judging, but also when I do training or in my professional life. People are building something very nice, but as long as they don't tell what they're doing, or they don't have that instructions or just a chart title, or say, click on this map and then something is happening. That's really important, because you have been working with this for hours and hours. You know all the nooks and crannies in your visualization, and then if you don't let the end user understand what to do, then it's difficult, and you're not scoring a full score on the design as well. And then for the storytelling, help people see and understand data. That's been the vision of Tableau since forever, or actually from the beginning. I didn't start with version 1. I started with version 7, which is 10, 11 years ago, but still, it's been a mantra as always. So you have to have some questions that you either are asking, or you can ask those questions in your storytelling, but you also have to explain them or answer them, so we understand what we're looking at. And those visualizations have to guide you, so we can go from, and that's something we've seen over the couple of years. I didn't judge last year, but I did still follow, obviously, the Iron Viz. And you don't have to put everything inside of the custom standard Tableau dashboard, one page, 900 times 1200, whatever it is. There's been a lot of this more scrolling, horizontal or vertical scrolling as well. So if you start from the top or from the beginning, and there's a lot of information, a lot of charts, you should be guided, so you are following that information or that question throughout, basically. It's always nice if there's a unique idea or a perspective. There's a lot of people who just, well, I saw something on Tableau Public, or I saw something somewhere else, and they just recreate. They don't kind of invent or find something new, something exciting for us to look at. So that's also helpful. There was quite a lot of interesting participants last year as well. I learned quite a lot of a lot of things when it comes to the participants last year, and this year when it comes to games. I love games, board games, every games, video games. I've been doing that, wasted way too much time in my life doing that. So I'm really looking forward to all the visits this year. And don't make it too complicated. So it's nice to have a nice complicated new type of graph, but if it doesn't add to the story, be a bit careful. So it has to engage the audience and the judges as well. So don't add stuff just because you can. And then a couple of tips and tricks in the end here. Try to tell a story. Try to engage the users or the readers of what you're doing. And the best of this is always have something to say, something that we understand, something that we like. Now Siri is trying to answer my questions on my phone next to me, so I'm just going to turn her off. Sorry, Siri. And keep it consistent when you build something. Make it, when it comes to color palette, make it consistent throughout, so you don't add all kinds of different ways of trying, because then we have to rethink and re-understand what you're trying to do. And the keyword when it comes to visual analytics, at least, the KISS, keep it simple, stupid. I mean, even though it's simple, as long as it doesn't mean that it's not boring. So bar charts always tell a good story, because it's so easy to see and understand. But obviously, twist it around a bit, do something extra, something nice, add pictures, icons, all kinds of stuff as well. Always helps, makes it more interesting. And this is probably something more you will talk about as well, Nathalie, but a lot of people might see that these brilliant people are making these beautiful dashboards, and I have no chance to be top 10 or be top 3. Just do it, because you will get feedback from the judges. We will not only give scores, but we will also give you written feedback on what we liked and what we didn't like. So it's a learning process. And looking back at the history, Klaus Schulze, Kevin Frerich, Lisa Trescott, all of these had not been working with Tableau for ages. So you don't have to be working with Tableau or have experience for 10 years to be top 10 or top 3. And finally, we also seen that people, it looks amazing, but basically it's just a something that I made in PowerPoint, in Figma, and then just add one Viz on top of it in Tableau. You should use Tableau. You can obviously add the images, the icons, and everything like that, but Tableau is the main tool here. You can use other tools to prep the data, to create images and everything. That's not a problem, but it should be mainly Tableau. And I mentioned this scrolling, the vertical. There was more of those in 2021, and there's more horizontal ones in 2022. But that's a very nice way of looking at visualizations, which gives the judges also a good day when we're looking at this. And then self-service in the sense of, is there a lot of interactivity, clicking, navigating, drilling into your demographics or whatever you're interested in. So you are answering the questions based on what your interest is. It's always nice, but if you don't have a lot of that, then there should be more info texts. You should remember to not use the default tooltips in Tableau. Do you really need a tooltip at all? If you need it, please format them, make them nice and easy to read. Add floating banners and objects accordingly as well. So that is me, and I also would like to say, Kim Lee, I was in Vegas last year, saw you on stage, and I guess I'm not allowed to say who my favorite was, but there was only one who made me cry and emotional, and that was yours. So tusen takk, as we say in Norway. So just use the Q&A, and if you have some more questions in there, we can do that later on.
Well, I'm definitely allowed to say who my favorite was. Yeah, and yeah, I don't think there's any question that Kimley's was. All right, Kimley.
I agree.
Now over to you. Hey,
I would hope so. I was your favorite.
All right. Now, well, you know what? Great segue into your intro of Nathalie, actually. From one finalist to another. Take it away.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you, Tore. That was really, really good inside information, I guess. But now we're thrilled to have Nathalie here with us. She's going to share her experience participating in the Iron Viz qualifiers, and she landed herself in the top 10 in last year's contest. I would highly recommend you go check out Nathalie's Viz. It is superb. One of my favorites from the entire competition. And today she'll be sharing her time-saving tips, learnings, and process for putting her Viz together. So a little bit about Nathalie. She's currently using Tableau as a data visualization freelancer. And her goal is to build visualizations that everyone has better access to data for business and informational purposes with a taste for open data. She loves to share her passion through Tableau training and participating in various Tableau community projects such as Workout Wednesday and Real World Fake Data. Over to you, Nathalie.
Thank you for the introduction. Let me share my screen. Well, I'm not seeing why I should share my screen from here.
At the bottom, green button, share screen.
Yeah. Okay, I got it. Okay, are you seeing my screen?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you, Kim Lee, for the introduction. In this presentation, so like I said, I will talk about my experience as an Iron Viz participant and what has evolved along the way for my different entries in terms of data visualization. And then I'll make a focus on my time management. And along the way, I will share some tips about design, about data, so let's start. So each time when I see the Iron Viz announcement, I got my first reaction is yes, it's Iron Viz season because there's a lot of buzz around and I love seeing all the impressive Viz pop up in the feed. So I'm really glad. But my first reaction is quickly followed by a second one, which is, will I spend the time to participate? And this is always tricky, and so I always wish I had more time. So you already made the introduction, but so I'm Nathalie Richet. I'm French and Tableau developer. I'm the proud mom of 3 amazing boys, and so I'm living here and there. And I am a first-time entrant participant. So here are the 4 entries I made. So This two dashboard are part of my first entry. This is my second entry. This is my third entry. And this is the last entry I made. We finish in the top 10 finisher. I was really glad with that result. And you can see everything has been evolved around the way that I went from horizontal to vertical, but not only that. So I wanted to dig a bit more in what about the change in my Iron Viz entries. So first you can think maybe it was less clutter, less colored, or more white space. So let's dig a bit in that and look at data again. So I use a tool for image analysis, and I took the picture, the image of my vises, and I look at the average size of my object in the different viz. And as you see, along the way with my different entries, the size of my object decrease. That means that might be less cluttered. In terms of color, you have seen it visually, but with data, you can see it better that the mean gray value of my viz, so the mean gray will identify the intensity of the pixel of the whole image. And so we are going from 255 for a white pixel to 0 intensity for black pixel. And you can see that along the way, my viz became less colored. That means more white space? Well, not really, because in fact, I was having a lot of white space in all my vises, and maybe the third entry was a little more with white space. It's just because maybe I didn't have so much of context to put in. So this is what changed during my different vises. And so you notice the orientation. And about that orientation, I passed from vertical to horizontal, and that was kind of design choice. Like Tori said, design must fit the team. I think it's better. And because I was talking about data from the MoMA, I was thinking that it was better to have the feeling to be in a museum, looking and having this horizontal scroll. Each time I'm doing this, Iron Viz, I know that I will engage in a larger piece of visualization that I'm doing usually. So I know for a fact that because I'm doing a big size, I'm going to spend more time on it. And if we look at the size, you can really see that all my viz are big. And now if we look at the time I spent to create this kind of size of it, we might have a surprise. Okay, that means what did happen? Did I spend less time in my first entry comparing to my other entry, and I finished in top 10? So what is this process here? We're going to look deeper about that time, because you can think that you need a lot of time sometimes to create this kind of viz. And my step first, when I know the announcement, will I decide to participate or not? That's a huge step for me. And then I will try to find the data set and the topic, analyze data, building, polishing, ask for feedback, iterate, and submit. The thing is I was wondering, well, if I collect only the important steps, the only needed step, I would say, maybe you can see that, in fact, all my entries at the same time involved, except for the second entry. But the second entry might be just because I didn't have to find a data set, just because for this reader, Tableau furnished a data set to analyze. So if we remove the finding data sets topic, you can see that actually I work more on this fourth entry, but differently. Because the first thing I did, I didn't decide. I didn't take time to participate. I just decided from the beginning, from the announcement, I will participate. And it saved me time, just because instead of having like a 1 week, last week rush at the end, I'm doing that at my own pace along the 4 weeks that are involved for this participation, for the submission. So Time investment is a real question of an Iron Viz. How much time will I invest? How much time do I have? How much time can squeeze in my schedule, actually? And this is a question as well that Matt Francis and Emily could talk about, and how much time do you need to spend on that kind of Iron Viz? And there is some kind of answer. So the average time was 70 hours, but just be clear, this is only the answer for the respondent. It doesn't represent the whole contestant, the whole participant of the entry. So, but you can see that within the respondent, there were important variation. So Jennifer Dave said she would estimate that more than 120 hours for participation. Wendy Gia as well, over 100 hours. So I was here, I didn't tweet about it, but this is my time. Sam Pearson took more than 80 hours for the last feeder where he went top 3 finalists. And so you can go all the way down. And what you can see that there is some people actually that came with great viz at the end in less than 30 hours. Like Jared Florence. And I like what he did because he explained his step as well by the time it took for each of his steps. And I think it's really important to give space and to give these steps to make you keeping up with your goals. Like I said, if we're putting some step, because this is huge time investment, so if you want to keep motivated, maybe planning could be a good way. Even if you're planning to invest 20 hours, 10 hours, giving some plans helps you to see your achievement and to keep up with your goal. So here, that was my plan for the first entry. My plan for the second, my plan for the third. I didn't plan them ahead, but now I will explain you why. And what you can notice here, that was the part for the polishing, asking feedback and hit rate was null for all my first entry. That the reason was just because I decided only the last week to try to build something, and because it cost me time at the end. In fact, I didn't have time to give someone the time to give me feedback. So what changed with my first entry? Because I decided earlier on that I would participate, then I finished earlier at my own pace, my entry, and then I had the time to ask feedback and to iterate after that feedback. So that was the important step for me for this last entry. And so the reason why I'm showing this planning is just that it's like everything. If we swap this chart in the other way, I think by planning your different your different step, you can have different emotion and struggling and wanting to give up on something, but setting the step with maybe fixed date, or I don't know, can help you to go to the end of your visualization. Sometimes there is a lot of people that start a visualization and they give up on it and they stock it on the side for 6 months and they retake it and start working again on it. So maybe it's help to get you up to your goal. So Iron Viz, how we make time for this kind of participation. So this is a 4-week span. If you start from the beginning, so you've got like 28 days of work, it's 100 hour investment. That means it's 3.6 hour a day. But if you agree and you just want to invest 20 hours, okay, that's less than an hour a day. So I think it's better to manage that way, because otherwise, if you come back to your 1 hour investment and you go on the 7-day left, your life is going to be crazy and you're going to give up. So start as soon as possible. Once, if you want to participate, start as soon as possible. I think this is the best advice that I could give on that side. And I think for making the time, my path is like I'm working earlier in the morning and in the evening. I think I'm better for, depending your own circadian, my path is better for creativity during the night and better for analysis during the morning. So I tried to separate the task. When I had to think about something and analyze, I would put that in the morning. But when I want to be creative or just fix some tooltip, I can do that in the evening. And in that investment, I didn't talk about wait for inspiration to click, because sometimes it can take time, but it can be when cooking, working, sleeping, anything. I wanted to give some tips about the data. I was thinking that for part of the data, if you compare my 4 entries, well, you can see, keep it simple to save time, because except if you want to learn new chart, you can see here, I've been practicing new charts. So if you want to practice charts, I think it's really good. It's really good exercise, but I can see that with my entry, I went simple and simple, even in my data, in my charts, but as well in my data. In terms of building, so I already talk about complex chart. I know for sure that complex chart will take some time to build, but as well some time to check, some time to fit with the data, and that's going to cost time. So if you don't have too much time to invest in your project, maybe do only one complex chart, or avoid and stay basic and simple with your chart. The second advice I would give is about floating object. Usually I'm a container team, but this time for my Iron Viz, I wanted it to give more flexibility. I didn't bring anything out of Tableau except the little spiders. So I wanted to have frames around my chart, and so I went all floating. And what happened to that is every little change I was making gave me headache with huge adjustment being. And it was because I chose to design everything in Tableau, but you can maybe design in another tool that you are more familiar with. And this is the time left to submit this Iron Viz. So this is 19 lines left. So if you haven't started yet, this is the time for start. So maybe the last question will be, will I participate this time? And I've got a tight schedule. I'm just moving between 2 countries, so it's kind of hard, but I'm going to start tomorrow. So I put the 13th day and the 13th of October for tomorrow, and I will not take too much. I will not have too much time, but let's say I'm going to put 2 hours per weekday and 3 hours per weekend day. That's for me a 30 hour that I could use to build the Viz. That means if I'm fixing some plan, like I need 2 hours to find the data set, so I know there is a lot of data set available in the game. I will spend 10 hours to analyze data, 14 to build it, 5 hours to polish, and that's my plan. That means I will have to start my analysis on the first day. I will have to start building on October 17. I will have to start polishing on October 23, and I will have time to give feedbacks on the 25th. I put a setup at 26 because I've got other commitment after, but you can go to the end and see that you can invest more hour in your plan. So if you're having less hour, you can do your plan as well and see how it goes. And sometimes if I need, okay, I've got an alert here because I think my plan is not fitting my schedule, and my hour plans are not enough for the setup. So I should rearrange my setup accordingly to my hour available. But the fact is, sometimes you get catch by your patient and you doesn't count your hour anymore. This is when you reach the 100-hour time investment. Okay, I don't know. So my last thought is, I think even if you're starting later, I think it's a good moment to start. And I think as well that anything is better than nothing. Even if even if what you are going to produce is not what you have in your mind, you have expected to reach. I think it's important just to go and get the feedback from the Iron Viz judges, because you will know your strengths. I love at the scoring judging at the beginning for my first 2 and 3, because I kind of see my strengths in the scoring and my weaknesses, and it helped me to build differently each time, taking into account my weaknesses, and maybe in, I don't remember, it was maybe analytics, and I get better in it, or maybe that was storytelling, and so I work on that really. So thank you for being invited me, and this is the QR code to access this Viz in my Tableau public profile.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Nathalie. I was just going to say the audience has already asked for this workbook from you.
Oh, really?
And I love that we got a Viz show and tell out of your session, not just your tips. That's amazing. You've already invested so much time in Iron Viz for next year, and that's not even to do with your Viz. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, it was so good. It's so inspiring. I hope everyone just gets to see just what you can do with Tableau, and just being able to be creative and just start making things. That's one of the things I love most about Tableau, make things. Okay, now look, any questions you have for us in addition to the ones that we've already seen and answered in the chat box there. But really, you know, we really just recommend that you go to tableau.com/ironviz. It really has everything that you need to know there. In fact, I'll just try to show you that here. We've got that here. Really, this is where you should go to first up to find what you're looking for. All information about how to enter. Obviously, you must have come across this site before if you've registered for the session today, but just how do you enter, you know, how you submit, the links to the forms that you need to fill out to submit your Viz. Everything is here, relevant resources in addition to what you've learned today. Lovely, you know, finalist entries and a bit of a blob on each of the individuals that I fortunately got to meet in Vegas in person. It was amazing. This is going to be very helpful for you if you have any questions around you know, the eligibility of the data set you may have chosen, how you might throw that question out to the Iron Viz team, and how you can tag your subject line accordingly. So really, this is your go-to place, and anything else you might have, any other questions you might have, just throw an email to the ironviz@tableau.com. All right. Any questions from anybody? I don't know if we can unmute you, or I'm not the organizer. I am the host now, but I can't really see. But
Nina, there is a Q&A box. I don't see any questions in the Q&A.
Yeah. Oh, there's a question in the chat. What is the topic for 2023? I think you mean for what we've just covered today. It is about games. Okay, so everything about games, really any data set that's relevant to games, that is distinct from making a game in Tableau. So just, again, just going to this site is where you get to learn more about the theme. Thank you for the question. So we've got a couple of minutes left. Anyone else with any questions for, I mean, we've got 2 finalists and 1 judge on the call. This is a rare chance. We'll just wait for a couple of minutes. If no one else has any questions, we may close the call. Got a question for Nathalie here. Whom did you ask for feedback from?
Yes, I has to a friend. She was my former manager, and so I asked her feedback, and because I just wanted to check up the flow of the Viz, because I think it was really important for the team of my Viz to be sure that the flow was the one I wanted to give, and she confirmed that, and she helped me to make some adjustment, and she looked at maybe typo, so that was a friend. But this year I will really go and ask feedback to the community, because I know there is some program about that, and I think it's held by Sarah Butler, and I'm quite sure she published like topic about the reason to enter Iron Viz, and this is absolutely complete, and you will have all the reason detail on how and why participate, and what will be the benefits for you. So this is my answer.
Thank you very much.
There's also a note that there's a lot of people in the community, like Sarah Bartlett, that are doing the Iron Viz feedback sessions. So you can sign up. You can get feedback from people, visionaries and Tableau Tableau ambassadors, and people in the community as well. So there's a lot of. I'm not sure if there's links into that in here, but that should be easy to find.
Yes, Sarah will be launching that soon. So keep an eye out on her blog, Sarah Loves Data, and you can sign up for feedback sessions and booking sessions with a whole bunch of community members that she's pulled together in order to provide feedback.
Thank you, everyone. That's great to know. There's some more questions, actually. Questions have been coming in. We'll try to address as many as we can. So I'll just do some quick answers for the when do we find out if we have qualified? So the top 15 visitors, and like I mentioned, really this website is really good for you to turn to for questions like this. The exact answer of when, can't say for sure. Again, that may be a question for ironviz@tableau.com. But in terms of receiving your scores and asking for feedback on your work, official feedback on your work, you can definitely submit. There are two kind of forms you can get here, kinds of forms that you can get here to kick that process off. So definitely go off of this website on that. Past year's visitors, I'm sure you can find that. You probably can start on this site somewhere. Look, on this website, we've included the three finalists. Yep.
Nina, there's an inspiration tab at the top there that might take you to previous.
You might be spot on.
Entries.
Yep, absolutely. Inspiration tab.
Yeah,
that starts. That starts here. But you can probably you can start here, and you can probably be. Yeah. You could probably start here, and then you'll be taken to a relevant page. I'm sure. Oh, look, question around what's the average number of different visualizations that is best to include in one's entry?
It depends.
Anyone want to? Yeah.
It depends on your story, what you're telling. So it's no point putting a lot of Vizes into a story just to put them in there, basically. So so it's important to put in something that's relevant for your story. It could be just a few charts, a few Vizes. Could be a lot of text. Could be some images as well. So it basically, the answer has to be it depends.
Yeah.
But don't overload it.
Really good advice. Can we have more than one entry per person? I'm guessing that was one of the questions here. No, one entry per person. Okay, unfortunately, yes, it would be nice to enter about 10 Vizes and try to get feedback on all of them. But unfortunately, that means Tura will be working overtime, and we probably can't afford for him to do that. I've got a question that says, Nina, can I get the QR code to have a look at my entry? I think that is a question for Nathalie, because I'm not entering. I am not allowed to enter as a Tableau employee. So Nathalie, please feel free to throw up your QR code again, please.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I have to share my screen again. So.
Yeah. No worries. Thank you. Okay. So the theme games is meant to be a broad set, correct? Yes, correct. So anything related, such as digital games, even gambling. I guess so. Look, you know, if you've got a data set and you've got your heart on it, but you just definitely want to make sure and there's no risk involved, please just you know, go to the website and submit a question, or just really it's an email to the Iron Viz team to say, you know, subject line is eligibility question, your data set, right? Is this okay? So please do that if you feel unsure at all. All right. All right.
There was also a question about where was that again? Actually, it disappeared, or no? Sorry.
I can see a question around how many candidates would participate in a competition every year. I have no idea. I wish somebody from the Iron Viz team would be able to answer that.
Yeah, I think at least I think last year was like 200 plus. But there's also a question about are all entries evaluated by judges, and the answer is no, because the Iron Viz team will screen the everything that comes in. If they're not the data is wrong, or if they actually had done something on this year on reality TV shows, then they haven't followed the rules, or if it's made in Power BI or something else, then it won't be.
Wrong competition.
Wrong competition. So there will be screening, and then for, I think we were 21 judges that had 20 plus each. So it was, well, it has to be way over 200 participants last year then, but those were the ones that the judges were allowed to go through.
Nice. And I think keep in mind as well of the countries of eligibility, because you don't want to spend the time putting together a viz and submitting it and then realizing that your country is not eligible, because then, you know, it's not a waste of time, because you've learned something, you've had fun, but you can't then, you know, be qualified for the finals.
And to check that, it can be found here in the rules section on the website. I'm sharing screen again. So just, you know, it'll lead you to this part of the website where you select the language that you would like to see the rules in. So do that, and you'll download a PDF document specifying the countries and everything else around the official rules of Iron Viz there. So do check that if you ever feel unsure. We may just take one more question before we close off, guys. Thanks so much for your feedback and your answers, your questions so far. So we've got a question for Tora. We may finish off with this. Could you please elaborate more on accessibility is applied? An example would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm starting to get an old man, so my eyesight is a bit, you know, difficult. So when I find a dashboard or an entry where everything is squeezed into one page, and the fonts are 8 or less, then that's an accessibility issue where the user can't really see and read what you're trying to convey in there. So make it easy to it's better to do like Nathalie is doing with the amazing, when you feel like you're in a gallery where you're just walking past or scrolling past. It's more space for your fonts, have a lot of white space around. Don't use colors that kill each other, like red, green, etc.
Thank you very much for that. All right, so we may end there. Thanks so much, everybody, for your time and clear interest. I'm hoping we'll see a high number of entries this year. And like I mentioned before, any questions, ironviz@tableau.com or tableau.com/ironviz. All right. So thanks so much, everybody. Again, thank you, Tora. Thanks so much. Nathalie, lovely. Thank you so much. That was great. And Kimley, see you soon, my friend, I hope.
Yeah, always a pleasure.
See you around.
All right, everybody. Good luck. Game on, actually. Game on.
On.
All right.